Hello and good evening. Welcome to SKTV and you're watching the Manipur Files. I'm your host, Utpala Longjam. Tonight we'll be exploring the impact of curfews, shutdowns and internet bans implemented to manage the law and order situation in the already conflict-stricken state of Manipur. Curfew along with suspension of mobile internet services crippled normal life for the last few days in this unrest-struck state of Manipur, and internet services have been suspended further for another 5 days till the 20th of September. The use of curfews, internet bans and shutdowns during the crisis aims to restore order and manage the situation effectively or to draw the attention of the government or higher authorities. However, these measures come with significant social and economic costs affecting daily life, communication and the economy. Balancing security and public freedoms is crucial to ensure these measures address immediate concerns without causing undue hardship to the residents. 16 months or 501 days as of today, this violent conflict has already weakened the state's economy, and shutdowns have led to educational disruptions. Schools and educational institutions have been forced to close, impacting students' learning and academic progress. The internet ban has caused difficulties for people in staying informed, communicating with family and friends, and accessing online services. In addition to the economic impact on online businesses and services, which has affected commerce and economic activities, not to mention the human rights concern. Internet bans can infringe on freedom of speech and access to information, raising ethical and legal issues. So instead of addressing the ongoing crisis, are we merely finding temporary solutions to what is actually a deep-rooted problem? To dive deeper into this critical issue, we have a team of knowledgeable experts with us this evening. I'm honored to introduce our panelists for tonight. We have Mr. P. SONAMANI, socio-political commentator. Welcome to Manipur Files, Mr. SONAMANI.
Thank you very much. Very kind.
Next, we have Mr. SHANTA NAHAKPAM, Secretary General UGM. Welcome to Manipur Files.
Thank you so much.
And last but not the least, we have Mr. N. SATYAJEET, Bureau Head, UNI. Welcome to the Manipur Files, Mr. N. SATYAJEET.
Thank you.
Once again, a warm welcome to our three panelists. Let's begin our first question with Mr. P. SONAMANI. Well, Mr. P. SONAMANI, do you think that curfews and internet bans genuinely help restore order, or do they merely suppress deeper underlying issues?
Good evening to everybody. Indeed, curfew, there is no word called curfew in the police handbook. Curfew is normally used by the army. In the civil administration curfew, there is no word in the police handbook. Anyway, this has been taken a serious step. That means the curfew, whenever curfew is being imposed or being applied, no one is supposed to, the restriction, the movement is being restricted. Their all normal functions are completely stopped. It is really a huge, the problems, innumerable problems people face it in all field or in all respect. But there should be a reasonable way. One cannot just impose this. It means this is like an authoritarian area. Of course, the government must have evaluated and anticipated a lot of the issues which might create problems, and of course our agitators too. They have also fundamental rights, because a state has been completely, after 6, 10, 17 months, we are not knowing exactly what is happening and what we are supposed to do and how to live and how to win over this such kind of a conflict and to restore the peace and tranquility. There is another thing. Yeah, both sides have said to say, but it is too long. Imposing curfew, the people's movement, people's human rights has been restricted, that you are supposed to be only in the home. On top of that, of course, the present, the government's impositions of this, our network, this is also a serious setback. But many hundreds and thousands of people, especially the school, colleges, university, what they learn it, not always from the university, there are teachers and the professors, but today their mobiles and this internet or this now all kinds of the facilities being provided, that is really completely upset, and they're completely abandoned the inquisitiveness to learn, and this is also completely ceased. And the government may would like to evaluate. But the too long impositions of the curfew and the ban of this, the internet and other, this is a great loss, and at this juncture, that means we are day by day, every moment, every second that we are lag behind. We are not in a position to compete, and we are not in a position to overcome, because 15, 16 months is too long. It is a loss to every section of people and to every our future's generation who are aspiring to become one of the pillar of this nation through this public service commissions. Then the business is completely paralyzed. Of course, it is bound. The government has been forced to do so, but the government may would like to evaluate and try to find out some ways, but now enough is enough. But we should also not forget that Chin Kuki Jo terrorists, their behavior, and they're persistent, they're planning how to swallow and how to balkanize the Manipur several districts, as they are planning to occupy almost the 5 districts out of the 11, 16 our districts. This kind of hegemonistic, just like what you will call it, the forcibly they would like to occupy it. Government, I believe, finding no other way to restore and to bring the peace and tranquility might have imposed. But anyway, government is a government. Government, we request that may would like to evaluate and see how best our children and our peoples, because every essential commodities prices is shooting up like anything, and even other cards, the renewal other card, people are saying that some companies, some private companies, some authorized companies, they're charging double or triple, or they're trying to delay, and even obtaining some passes and for renewal other disease office, some sort of a delaying tactics, although they can ask the money, they are willfully and obviously they're delaying, tomorrow you come, day after tomorrow you come, like that kind of some sort of inconvenience, if not harassed. Things are going on. And the employees of the government department, you should not, had there been such kind of the problem what the people have been talking and bringing to the notice of the government, and we are made to discuss in this issue, please don't do. This is not the right time. You must try to help the poor people coming from far distance, and you must have a kind on them. They are not the Imphal people. There might be 30, 40, 50 kilometers and who are totally penniless now. Please have a kind. You all dealing assistant and the officers in this office, please have a kind on them. Let us not try to delay or dulling tactics, because in Manipur by blood we are corrupted. We know it. So this is my appeal to the government.
Right,
now enough is enough. Government may would like to evaluate and see that the internet is being restored in our movement, 37 National Highway and the National Highway 2. This is the government of India. You are responsible. 37 National Highway and 2. That belongs to your within the ambit of your control. This Manipur government has no. So you should come forward, government of India. Right. Of course, Honorable CM and the government is trying their best, but this conflict is not being accumulated only by today itself. It's for 5 decades, 6, 7 decades onwards. They have been planning it persistently. They have been thinking it how best that Manipur can balkanize it, and how Manipur they can try to coup up so that they can form another country. So this is my first submission to you.
Thank you, Mr. P. Sonamani. I'll come back to you with another question. Moving on, the next question for Mr. Shanta NAHAKPAM. There's been an extension on the internet ban by another 5 days. What are the implications of this extension, and can you also give us a view on the 24-hour shutdown that we had? What would you like to say about that? Because since the state is already in crisis, so these are additional burden on the people. So what are your views on that?
I think in my opinion, I think there is a heavy loss of faith between the agitators, the people who are heading this, who are commanding the agitation, because it seems that there is no link between the events and the decisions taken by the various CSOs and other parties, like the people who have tried to defend the cookie zoo issue
Right.
and the events which are happening inside the different locations and different areas. Because even with the government, you see, if you look at two angles, the government has not been able to impose 144 in Kangpokpi district, where the national highway has been passing.
Right.
Okay, various section of people, even armed, they usually check the vehicle. The Meitei drivers cannot drive through that route. If the government was so willing to utilize law in such a way to suppress the issue or to maintain law and order, they could have done it in Kangpokpi also. Why not in Kangpokpi?
Right.
Why not in None? Why not in Tupul area, where the carcass of the chief minister was ambushed?
Right.
All right. So if you look at the second angle, the different section of issues or different events which are happening inside our state, for example, in Moirang, where the CSOs announced the emergency.
Yeah.
Then after that, the event in Kawa, where the various agitators had lined up in Kawa, and the event which happened, which is like it's continued to happen in the eastern side of the eastern side of the city, mainly near Kawa Lilong area.
Right.
It is not happening in other parts of the town.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that we are not agitated by the way things are things have been happening. Because few days back, 2 weeks back, Kautruk was under bombardment. Okay.
Right.
Then after that, Moirang was under bombardment. Then suddenly some students decide to come up on road.
Exactly.
And they decide that they just decided they are not going to go back home until their demands are met. So who are the people who are commanding these issues?
Who's steering this?
Yes, who is steering this issue?
Yes,
So
yes.
different section of societies seem to be like different section of leaders seem to be trying to command the issue. So in that kind of a condition, the government is not able to decide whom they are going to send a filler to.
Right.
So that we can calm down the city, calm down the town. So I think the government might have taken the decision to impose a ban on internet and impose curfew on some of the areas. Because they do not know who are the people they are trying to defend,
Right.
or who are the agitators, who are the leaders. They are not having an idea on that. But the worst thing about whenever you talk of curfew, or whenever you talk of internet ban, or you look at the present position of the state Manipur, we are not in a very good position, because we are not having a very good future. We don't even have a future now, because everything has been shrunk.
Yes.
Roads are shrunk. The quality of roads at present.
Yes.
Then the quality of business at present, the quality of movement at present. I think the government should, like Tamo has rightly said, that the government needs to review the model of decisions taken during such kind of events. Like if suddenly today, while we are talking here, if there is a blast outside on this route, then is the government suddenly trying to, like, without having any intel, are they trying to just suppress the people, or
Yes,
are they
exactly.
trying to maintain law and order? That is the
Right.
big question.
Yes.
Because maintaining law and order is a different thing. But if you are trying to suppress the people using different kind of laws and sections inside the IPC, then you will not be able to. Government will not be able to suppress anything. Rather, it will escalate more. Because see, the internet ban which they have put on our state, it is not. They say that they have written that it's all over Manipur, but some of the areas are still operative with internet.
Yes,
Then
yeah.
again, during the starting of this crisis, from May 3rd,
Yes.
they had opened up lease lines, and whoever had taken lease line, or whoever's broadband was opened during that time, everybody had signed the undertaking already. Why are they harassing why is the government harassing different section of people,
Yes.
making them sign this undertaking again and again? We don't
Yes.
understand that.
Exactly.
Is the government policy not properly planned? Is somebody even inside the government also, somebody is taking decision on his own? They are not reviewing the situation. Like 6 months back, when Supreme Court ordered to lift the ban on internet,
Yes.
till that time, how was the internet, different kind of internet facilities, how were the people being made to use? They should remember that. The government should remember that. Why is the
I think it did more harm than
Yes.
than benefit.
Yeah,
Right.
because you are repeating, you are coming back to square,
Yes, exactly.
square one again. You are coming back to square one again because
Right.
you are going through the same process. Everybody is, like line up again on the broadband offices. Then you are going back to the home department. Like even me, I'm having 2 lines of internet. One of them is a lease line. They have disconnected the lease line now. Now they have given another order on 12th of September that if you want to, they will give a selective opening of internet with an undertaking, which was done last time also. Why to repeat the same thing?
Yes.
You already got my signature. There is no
Right.
point, harassing me again and again. I think somewhere both sides, even the agitators and the government, they are not able to understand or link up the issue. The government is even trying to show or define that these agitators are not the original ones who are defending the state or who are against the cookies, or this agitation is totally different. Even the media house also, like today I have read all the papers because due to the escalation of the Kawa issue, some of the newspaper have shown a baby, like
Yes.
the
fetus, the dead fetus,
dead
yes.
fetus being carried openly on the newspaper. Like that's
Right.
like pushing for another agitation.
Yes,
you see?
absolutely.
You are not able to understand what you want in your state. Every section of society has a role to play. The media house has a role to play. We as a speaker, we have a role to play. Today, if I speak something which can ignite, then it is my responsibility. Yes, I am speaking. I want to ignite it.
Yes.
If I want to balance it, then it's my responsibility. So I think both sides, the agitators and the government, moreover, the agitators need to coordinate with various CSOs. For example, if something happens in Moirang, they need to call upon the people who have been working on such issues since decades. The organizations who has been working since decades, they have to call upon these organizations. Come down, we need your help.
Right.
We have decided such and such things. Are you going to cooperate, or will we get support from you, or you need to support us? If you don't support us, we are going to go on our own. These are the things they have to say. But I think there is no link between
There's a communication.
there is a huge communication gap between the agitators and the leaders who have been talking with the government. If such things continue, then the people who are going to go to Delhi or who are going to negotiate or who are going to make the government understand that this is what Manipur needs, it's going to get derailed so easily, because agitation is going on a different model and
Yes.
the talk is going on a different route.
Absolutely.
You see,
It's turned
so
completely.
it's totally turned around.
Right.
So the government and the government of India, particularly the government of India, the intelligence government of India and Cookizo, they will be having a very happy time, and
Yes.
we'll be having a tough time in Imphal.
Absolutely.
That is what we have to understand.
Right. Thank you so much for your views. Now, continuing with what Mr. Shanta NAHAKPAM just said, the question for you, Mr. N. Satyajeet, is it is said that the agitators do not have a coordination with the leaders. So, do you think like this internet ban and the curfew was imposed after the agitations that took place last week? Do you think anything good came out of that agitation apart from this? I don't think any of the demands were met. So how do you think restricting internet will affect overall like the state, and also how does it affect the media's ability, like Mr. Shanta NAHAKPAM just mentioned about how the government and the cookies would have a good time with this ban. How do you think it is affecting the media's ability to report accurately on the situation? Does it lead to increased reliance, or does it lead to increased rumors?
Utpala, first of all, at the very outset, I would say, what is the role of media? As per the directive of the Press Council of India, the media is not supposed to give the name of the victims also.
Okay.
Even if the conflict is going on between two communities, it cannot even give the names of the communities, because it will incite the communities and it will lead to aggravation of the crisis. This is not followed, unfortunately, in the Manipur crisis. The other issue is, as a tradition, we do not, media houses are not supposed to publish photographs of deceased people or whatever. You know, what happened is, so many people, they don't even listen to news also, because it comes prime time during dinner time.
Right.
While you are having dinner, you know, if some bad news come out, then it will be a bad day for you. And it is very mentally harasses you also. So I think media has a role. The the other issue is they should try to control the situation by giving the correct news. They should not sensationalize it, and they should try to resolve the crisis by giving the good news, positive news first. Then the other issue which you have raised is then the government has put up two-pronged policy. Both the policies are very harsh. One is curfew, and the other is, though the word curfew doesn't exist legally, but we still we are using it,
right?
Because in the previous IPC 140, 1, 2, 3, but the one is slightly moderate, second is tougher, third one is quite harsh, because under the third period, those who are on duty, they have the right to shoot also. So we have used the word curfew for that, though it doesn't exist. Even the word law and order do not exist in the our constitution also. The public order is used, but it is a normal word which we are using. So we understand by the word curfew. Then the other issue is both issues which the government have done, those are very harsh. Because what we are saying is the government should impose curfew on the areas from where the crimes are taking place. For example, Kautruk.
Right.
The government should have imposed curfew in the areas from where the perpetrators were doing their activities. Then the other area is the border area. The government is supposed to impose curfew in those areas because because the government must be knowing lots of things, because insurgents or terrorists, whosoever, because they have been coming in and they are creating problem in our soil. It is an external aggression, and it is destabilizing the internal security of our nation. It is a very serious issue. And so on those issues, the government should impose curfew. And imposing curfew in our area is, I would say, meaningless. And the government has taken the wrong decision. Regarding internet, because I think in 2022, I think the Brookings Institute, they did a research, and they found that in India, about the loss was about $2.8 billion. 2.8 billion. It was in terms of billion. And we have not done an exact calculation of the losses here in Manipur. And if we have to look at it from the perspective of a very poor person, they recharge it at the lowest one, internet, data. And we had last year, about 144 to 145 days of internet ban. And I think I want to ask the government, if they wrote to the companies to compensate the poor people, the rich people, they can afford. But let's imagine what about the poor people who do recharge for small things. Then the other issue is the healthcare. Just imagine healthcare, because Imphal is different from other cities. Imphal is the capital of Manipur. Capital has a special status, because in New Delhi, how long can you ban internet in New Delhi? Because it is the nerve center, is the capital of India. Imphal is the capital of India, of Manipur, and you cannot just put anything randomly, at your will. Because we have the High Court here, we have the Speaker sitting here, we have the entire bureaucracy sitting here, then we have the entire media facility sitting here. I think anybody who took the decision should have discussed, at least considered of what exactly would affect those people. We have large number of security personnel here, because nowadays everything is done online.
I think the order was also taken out in a very quick. As soon as the agitation started, it did not take much time for the government to announce the ban.
And an example which we normally take is, for example, if there's a plane crash, which then should we ban the entire flights all over the world? And the other example is, we have seen a prolonged crisis in West Bengal. Internet is not banned. And in most parts of India, so many people are keen, 10%, 20% on a daily basis. And in India, crimes against women and children are increasing on a daily basis. Then rape, murder, dowry cases. But we cannot ban internet, because internet, it helps the poor also. Because especially women and children also. If women and children, when they go out somewhere, if they want to send an SOS when they are in danger, it helps, it empowers them also. So you have taken out a weapon from the poor and the weak also. Then the other issue is, it has put the entire masses into a crisis because they are not able to take out money.
Exactly.
ATMs
Yes.
are closed, and if in some, I saw some ATMs open, but the queue was so long that by the time your turn comes, there will be no money in the ATM. So your time is wasted. The issue is the government should think about the loss of time also. Because then the other issue is you can't do any business now. Small time business, they're all closed down.
Yes.
And so as I said, Imphal is a special status. The government should think about it. Then the legal process also. Now every legal process, about 70 to 80% is done online also. So those processes are hampered. The activities of our honorable judges are, and it will affect the judicial system also. Then the other issue is about the media. We have a duty and we have a role, and the role and duty is to inform people. If we do not have internet, because most of our services are based on internet, if we do not inform people, if we do not give information
at the right time,
and then we are we are not doing our job also.
Very
and
true.
the other issue is the most important, which many people do not discuss, is about right to life.
Yes.
Ban, for example, if I am a salaried person, I need not go to office, I need not go to college, because my salary, everything will come on its own. By the end of the month or by first week next month, the salary will be deposited in my account very coolly. But just imagine, just only 1 lakh people are employed. Just imagine, discuss about the 34 lakh people. They are not employed. They are daily wage earners.
Yes.
They are farmers. So just please think of them. And whenever the government takes any decision, they should think about the common people first. Because the rich they can afford also. For example, NAHAKPAM was speaking, SHANTA was speaking about lease line, broadband. Poor people, they cannot afford all these issues. Even the recharge also, they do the minimum also. So I think whatever we do, we should think about the poor people. Then the other issue which we have to discuss is about peace building. And the role of civil societies, as you said. If you look at the entire freedom movement in the entire world, even in India also, at those times there was no proper connectivity. But just look at how Mahatma Gandhi in the Indian National Congress, it was just one organization. There were communists, there were socialists, and there were even people who wanted to take up arms also in the entire movement. But the problem, it was resolved by discussing. For example, Subhash Chandra Bose wanted to do a violent steer. Even though he strayed away from the entire movement, he still named the movement of his INA battalions under Gandhi, under Nehru. So there is a cohesion, even though he went away. And if you look at African National Congress, the apartheid movement, Nelson Mandela, there were other small organizations also, but they all came together because it is for a unified nation. It is, and it will help the people also. And when we grew up, we were told a story that if you have, if you put the sticks differently, you can tear it easily. But if you hold it together, then nobody can break it. I think the civil societies in Manipur, the role they have done is they are not paid. We should remember that the civil societies who have come out, they have sacrificed their job, they have sacrificed their time, their money. They are doing, out of love for their people, and the state as well. And they are doing it because they feel that they have a duty to protect the land from the aggressors. So I think we should help them also. And the other issue, which the other problem is, the government seems to not know how to deal the situation also. Because there are different organizations with whom they should deal. So and Manipur is quite peculiar because we have, as they said, Manipur has lots of captains but no soldiers. I mean, everybody is a captain, everybody is a commander here. So I think we should, but I think the time has come for the people to realize that if they are not united, even in this juncture, then they will not be in a position to fight the enemy. And the enemy here is quite different from the other enemies. The enemy is very vindictive, it is very powerful, it has weapons, it has money, it has backing, and it knows how to lobby with the people, it knows how to strike, and it knows how to create problem here also.
Yes.
By shooting from Koktruk, by shooting from Churachandpur, they have created problems here. and they know how to, they can do anything. And the other problem is people, especially I'm speaking about the barrier layer, so they don't know how to react also. It is rather impulsive. They don't think much, and lastly it is impulsive. So I think they should cool down, they should think, and they should consult the civil society, because they have been doing agitation. That is exactly what happened to the students' movement. Because when they built up a momentum, then suddenly the news came that a student has died. It was shocking, unfortunately, she was safe, but it was a shocking news. So I think when you build a momentum, if people die, they're two young girls, then that is shocking. So building a momentum is very difficult. That's why in 1942, Chauri Chaura incident, Mahatma Gandhi called off the Quit India movement. So I think the students, they should consult the civil societies, because for example, UCM, just imagine what it did in 2001. It unified the entire people, and it was successful because at that time everybody supported UCM. And I think this is the time we support. There should be one core committee. We should support them, and we should beg them, and whatever they do, we should give all possible assistance and fight the enemy.
Thank you. Very meaningful insight from Mr. N. Satyajeet. Thank you for your views. Now coming back to Mr. P. SONAMANI. The next question is a little controversial. We address is a controversial topic. Do you think, we're talking about the agitation, do you think the use of tear gas by the Manipur police on the agitating students was justified? And what are some of the challenges that are faced by Manipur police?
You see, why people agitate? There must be some cause. It is not that the father and the children, they quarrel, and for certain small things, they quarrel by evening, they die down. No. Government is being a government, could not take any tangible decisions till now. Of course, effort is being made. You see, the government of India's attitude, other side of the coin, the armed forces, their attitude. You see that couple of days before, Assam Rifle Director General P.C. Nair, what kind of a statement he has given? What he had already said, thanks to him in one way. We had been seriously doubt and the pointing fingers on the government of India, because the armed forces people, they have not been taken seriously. I had been repeatedly, I had been urging, and I had been shouting from the top of my voice that Assam Rifle and the army and CAPF, they have not acted promptly, and they are delay-dealing tactics as if they have become spectators for this, the Chin cookie terrorists, their aggressive, their attitude. Government of India knows very well. State government totally and abruptly failed about the collection of intelligence. That is another root cause.
Yes.
Government of India, government of Manipur, they say that no, we have collected a lot of advanced intelligence. Then again, the very important information we have furnished to the government of India, and the government of India has not replied promptly and timely. This may be another answer. But now the DCs and SPs, they are the king, they are the general in a district. DC has a direct access up to the Home Secretary, copy to the Chief Secretary. SP has a direct, SP cannot communicate to the government. His ultimate goal is up to DGP or his nearest one, IG law and order, then copy to DGP. So this has been this Chin cookie terrorists. Their such obnoxious and despicable behavior was not meted out by 1 week or by 2 weeks. No. They have been contemplating it for the 5-6 decades onwards, because from the various sections, from the various countries and their think tank, they had been, having a very close link, and they had been having a confabulations, their plan, policies. So it is a well planned. They have done it, which the government of India and especially Manipur government, we failed miserably. We must admit it. Whatever might be the reason. Other previous government too, there were laxity, they were not taking much interest because we were concentrating only in the valley area. And the many people, they don't want to go to the hill areas, the posting, this is another factor. I suggest, I request, at least 10 to 15 years out of the 30, 35 years career, the valley people, those who are born in the valley, they be posted, and this should be the compulsory. I'm not talking the secretariat and director, they cannot go because they are supposed to be in the capital. Okay, but the government runs, it is a ladder system. From the Lord, from the district, from the subdivision, then to the district, then to come to the secretariat, then to the government. You see, from the grassroots level, when the information is not being furnished, what the commissioner and what the DGP sitting in Imphal, what he can do. Okay, this has been completely, we have abruptly, we have measurably, we have failed. Now, what the government, we'd like to request and suggest, they must take some suggestions and the advice from the civil society organizations and from the media, and apart from the intelligentsia. They must listen it. Sometimes the media is the fourth player and the fourth pillar. They can give some advice. Honorable Chief Minister, I personally appeal it. Media's at least a think tank, and they will be able to guide you. I am not ruling out that your importance of your bureaucrats and the police and other. Okay, that side is another factor. And the opposition's parties too, INDIA and other CSOs. This is another the biggest drawback in Manipur. Satyajeet has rightly, he has said. There was Amuko first. Amuko, that there was a president. Then Amuko was continued to remain. Somebody jumped and formed the UCM. Again, I was a king. Now I cannot become a redundant or a completely unused the lion. I should form another UCM. I form it. Then again, I became the chairman again, or I became the president. Yes, he did his work. Then again, he has completed his term. Then he formed another one. Say, we go and changing. And the various other associations who have no control by any authority. This is the major setback of the Manipur. Of the Manipuris. In Chin, Kuki, Jo, and the tribal and others, our developed states, you will always see that there is only one union. Say, Young Mijo associations, say Nagaland NNPG, so students NSF, only one. The languages is different, culture may be same Nagas. There are 37, 38 associations there, each tribe. But each tribe has amalgamated. Each tribe has agreed, no, we'll work under one umbrella called the NSF. One NSF, there any order they pass on to in the rank and file, this is being applied. In our Manipur, I am being an All Manipur Student Union founder member. In our time, the hilly people, brothers also used to come and we used to discuss a lot of things. Of course, I stayed here only 4 years. Out of that, only 3 years I could, I could work and tie up with other tribal groups. Today there was the SUK, there was in the MSU, there are one faction, there are two factions, then there's Desham, this thing, that thing, there are hundreds. Who listen what? This is another major factor. I'm not blaming the young children and others. From one father, how he can control the 100 children? It is impossible. So why did we come under one umbrella? This is another major factor. Say in the politics too, this is different one, I am this is different one, I am from different one, only to pull the legs of the government. That is also not good. Politics, this is the opposition parties, this is the golden opportunity to act as an elder brother or of the government. You guide the government. Don't struggle and don't try to pull the legs of the government first now. Because this is the issue of the common issue for the whole Manipur communities, rather than the Chin Kuki terrorists. Now the Nagas, they have woken up. Okay, fine, but it's too late. No problem. They've woken up. They have realized it. Now things slowly, gradually will be able to restore the peace. We agree, but the time is taking enough time. This is the only way.
Absolutely.
Modus operandi. But CSOs, you cannot behave like that, or you cannot function like that. Everybody now, Kokomi is taking over now. COCOMI, okay, he is doing, the COCOMI organizations is doing well. Then are we under the COCOMI, that whatever the COCOMI says, should we not listen? Why should we not listen when the COCOMI says something? So there is a communication gap. If the COCOMI says that no, you all agitators, you should not behave it like that, no. So you step back, we'll handle it. I don't know COCOMI had said such words or not. Or our agitators willfully, no, will create some problem, will not listen anybody, will throw a stone to the police, and the police let it fire. No, we are also involved. And this is also, we should agree. When the governor Ras Bhavans, they were passing some students few hundred hours, few hundred in numbers. They were stopped by the police. No, you cannot come nearby the Ras Bhavan. You wanted to agitate in the Kaishampath, you do it. But willfully they breach their order. So they came back. So ultimately they have to fire it. This is also another compulsion. So we should understand whose order, who is listening it. Unless all the CSOs, this is the social movement. This is a very, very important thing. Many of my friends already have said leadership. But we all Manipuris, we want to become everybody a chief minister. We want to become that everybody is a leader. Everybody, I am also MLA, he is also a student leader, I am no less than to him. No, that kind of a feeling. We cannot compare with the chief minister. He is the head of the government. And the head of the state is above him too. But see, it's a hierarchy, no? There's a letter system we should listen to. Since the COCOMI is there, why should we not listen to the COCOMI's word? This is my appeal to everybody, the women sections, ladies and mothers. Let us listen it. And the government also should listen it, what the COCOMI says, because they are the representative. Like the Young Mizo Association, when they said one word, government listen. Government is bound to succumb from the pressure of the Young Mizo Association, like any other state in the world. So we are thoroughly engaged. Last, my point is this. In the police too, when we work in the district, there is a police, not mandatory that whatever we said arrogantly, aggressively, come, bhalai, dandi, chalao, ye karo, ten. No, this is not the way. Public and the public in the police relation is very important. And the public also should know the role and responsibility of the police. And the police officers too has to be under certain degree of the public's better dealing. This is a very, very important thing. When a district SP in the DC, they are the twin brothers. Public watch how the SP, how DC they behave. Police should not be too much, over concerns, too much the showy, too much very differently behave, and this becomes another drawback. Senior officers has to come down and behave, console, talk in a very beautiful way. There are so many children when a superintendent of police or senior SP or a DIG, when they come and when they talk, say a few days before, this what is called the Young Puppy. Young Puppy, there was a lot of agitations where I had been just contacting it. SP came down, he sat down, they said that no, we want the government representative, SP you are low, we want some ministers to come. Mr. Shuchindro happened to be there. I don't know, somehow or other he was being cordoned, what we see it. So there was a lot of commotion and agitation. Gone. SP he cool up, he sat down there, then he embraced everybody, then mothers, then he prayed to everybody. Somehow or other, after departure of the minister, he managed to cool up. This is the personality, and this should be the modus operandi of the senior officers. We cannot depend only for the constable and havildar. The one day somebody pelted stone, you go and fire it. So SP is one of the very important factors. His personality, his performance, his approach, his way of his convincing capacity, that is a very, very important. We cannot rely every time with the government or the chief minister. What for we are? We are here to support, we are here to act and to restore and try. And everything, the chief minister cannot come and restore the peace. It is not possible. In our own capacity, sometimes police officer also should ready to face and to receive some blows from the public, because it is nothing. They're our brothers, they're our sisters, they're our relatives. What matters when somebody blows even to us? What matters? It's okay. Does it mean that he gave me a blow? I took out my revolver and I just fired. No. This is not the way. Police officers, we We are supposed to be cool and patient. There is something tolerance for intolerance sometimes. We must face it. We cannot set the arms and give it, come on, you go and fire it. No, that is nowhere being taught anywhere in the world. So this is my submission. Okay, we lost so many things and a lot of disorganized is here. We must come together under one umbrella. CSO too, under the COCOMI, under their umbrella, we should come. We should understand, and particularly the students, leaders. We must understand my children, my grandchildren. You must understand that there is a platform called umbrella, big umbrella COCOMI. You listen it properly, they will take it up the matter with the government and with the proper authority. Let us not act, that overacting, that the no eagles can do it, chalo, maro, goli, this thing, then ultimately that you will have to receive it. We're sorry for that. So this kind of a system, we should have a better coordination and government should listen, please, government. You call the public leaders, you call the media people, and you call the CSO leaders, sit down. Honorable Chief Minister, I appeal to you. This is the best way they can highlight you. Lot of their discernment, lot of their advice. Perhaps it will also help you. This is what I would like to give my statement to you.
Thank you, Mr. P. SONAMANI. Very insightful once again. My question to Mr. Shanta NAHAKPAM. We were talking about the tear gas. So connected to that, do you think there are other measures apart from curfews, internet bans and shutdowns proportionate to the scale of the conflict? Are there other measures that can be taken, or do you think these actually cause more harm than good?
See, before coming to your point, I just want to clarify, like bring the original thing, or like how it happened and why it happened. Because like you see, during 2001 June, different CSOs of the state, they decided to come together. Because 2001 June was a different scenario. This is a different scenario. Right. Too many clubs formed under AMUCO and UCM came together, united, and they fought the ceasefire agreement. Then after the Kangla fort was withdrawn by the Assam Rifles and the ceasefire extension was withdrawn, we decided, the clubs decided to stay apart for a while because as per the decision of the leaders of that time, the main agenda of the agitation was over. So in Manipur, unlike Mizoram or Nagaland, we have different issues and different scenario where the different CSOs are formed to defend different agitations.
Right.
For example,
but what do you say about all the JACs that are formed?
I'm coming to that.
Okay.
Like you look at the present situation in Manipur. This is not a normal demand which a CSO has.
Right.
You see, a COCOMI cannot. See, at times, COCOMI cannot defend everybody sitting in Imphal. When Mr. Biren Singh as a chief minister, when Mr. Amit Shah as a home minister, who is having 5 or 7 wings of intelligence, cannot make the cookie disarm by themselves, how do you expect a CSO to, CSO to control every nook and corner of the state? That is not possible.
Right.
Why there are too many agitations and different model of agitations going on in the state? Because this is truly an armed conflict influenced by people who want to disintegrate the unity of the state. You have to accept that. First of all, we have to accept this. It is not a normal agitation. It's unlike the framework agreement of the NACNIM, which we were demanding. The United Committee Manipur, AMUCO and all other CSOs have been demanding that there should not be a state inside a state. We cannot give a state like the territorial council or whatever. We have been objecting this.
Right.
At that time, different CSOs can have the same opinion. We can join hands at that moment because it's a single point agenda. But this agitation and whatever is happening inside the state, you cannot expect people from Moirang to wait for COCOMI's decision.
Yes.
Okay, you cannot expect people in Sugnu to wait for the convener of COCOMI to call them up, or they calling them the COCOMI that okay, today they have fired shots at us and what should we do? We cannot wait. It is the sole authority of a citizen to defend themselves, take their own decision.
Then how do you think unity will come in
See,
such a case?
I'm coming back to that also.
Okay.
See, like when you have such kind of agitation, we have to understand who is our common enemy. The model of agitation which we are having today will go on for another, in my opinion, it's my personal opinion. I'm not offending any CSO, even me myself being a member of a CSO. I cannot offend them also, because I truly understand how these things are, like unfolding and how it is going to take place. Because we are not actually fighting our common enemy, which is the Indian government and the illegal immigrants. Our common enemy is the illegal immigrant and the Indian government, which is not able to understand the conflict properly. The Indian government, the government of India and the state government seems to not been convincing the government of India in a way to settle this issue. Okay, the state government seems to be like taking decision on their own. Like for example, if there is something happening in Sugnu, they decide something for Sugnu region. If something is happening in Kautruk, they decide something with the DC of Kautruk region is DC of Kautruk. If something is happening in Bisempur, they call up the Bisempur DC and say, what is happening in your DC? Okay, you put a curfew, or you do this, you do that, you barricade that area, do a combing operation in that area. The core agenda of the issue is illegal immigrant. Kokomi is also doing it, Amuko is doing it, other CSOs are also doing it. Our core agenda is to have a talk with the government of India, make them understand while this agitation goes on, because you cannot stop this agitation. If somebody has fired a tear gas cell and somebody has died there, then obviously the agitation will go on. For example, if there is, you cannot say that, for example, you cannot say if somebody has died in an agitation, if the family wants to negotiate with the government, and if they have accepted any kind of package or any kind of goodwill from a government, and they say that, okay, my family has accepted, please stop it. It is also not possible, because the people will say that, okay, today your family has died, tomorrow somebody else might die. So who is going to take responsibility for that?
Right.
So what is happening is we are being moved out from the core agenda, which is to talk with the Indian government and make them understand that our core enemy, we have a common enemy, the government of India and Manipur government and the people of Manipur and the CSOs, particularly the indigenous tribe and us. We have a common enemy, which is the illegal immigrant. Until and unless we decide our common enemy and we make sure that we live together and we as the major population of the state, our CSOs and our people understand the model of agitation. Yes, if somebody has died, obviously we have to agitate, we have to fight. Right. But you cannot destroy the integrity of the state or dignity of a people or a law enforcement agency. Just because somebody has died. That is another point. Yes, unfortunately too many people have died, and we truly are pained by the loss what our state is now facing. But this is an armed conflict. You look at the various agitations which has gone by during our lifetime. There was never ever an armed conflict like this. This is truly an armed conflict where people are being fired by bullets, where people are being killed by drones, where people are being killed by rockets. So in such kind of a scenario, you cannot expect one CSO or one club to take over the whole agitation and make the people understand. Because if today, if we four are sitting here, somebody comes in and they start firing at you, even I have to defend the position. Yes, that is what is happening. Because the major conflict area is being diverted by the government of India. Whenever whenever the chief minister states that yes, peace is going to come in 6 months, somebody is truly firing. Somebody is truly agitating. Not me, not you, not the CSOs, but yes, someone wants the agitation to go on.
Very good points, Mr. NAHAKPAM. Due to time constraint, I'll move to Mr. N. Satyajeet. Well, Mr. Satyajeet, can you tell us, as Mr. NAHAKPAM was just telling us about the diversion of the conflict into this, what are your views on that? Could you quickly tell us in about 2 minutes? How it has diverted from the main conflict to the now situation with the curfews and the internet ban?
When there is a dual ban, there is curfew and internet ban, there is an apprehension among in the minds of the people. The apprehension is that now 100 days, it was assured by the government that the issue will be resolved within 100 days. Today it's over. 100 days is over. Nothing has been done on the ground, at least what we can see. I don't know what it has done below the table. We don't have any idea. But the problem is people now have realized that those people who are supposed to do, they are not doing anything. And in this juncture, there is a confusion among the people also. on how they should react also. And on how they should react is different, because if there's a personal tragedy, for example, what happened at Koktruk, and for example, what happened at Moirang also, those are personal tragedy.
Right.
And those people in those areas have a reaction to that. We cannot stop that also, because humans are bound to humans are supposed to, you know, to voice their anger also. In this aspect, I think there's a communication gap. The government is supposed to give orders, and people are supposed to obey. And the problem is, when people suspect that the government is not giving proper order, then there is a confusion. Then the other issue, which, for example, I'll just take, since time is over, I'll just take an example. For example, internet bed, which we were discussing, broadband. I don't know how many people are using broadband, but if you calculate that about 1 lakh people are using it, just imagine that about, say, they have to fill up about, say, 3 lakhs of papers have to be deposited at broadband offices.
Yes.
Just imagine 3 lakh offices,
Right.
because you have to put your undertaking, then your Aadhaar, then your proof of your connection also, at least 2 to 3 pages. So it's a huge wastage of time, huge wastage of paper.
Resources, yes.
So what we are saying that the government is not giving proper order, and it has created confusion among the people. And so I think whatever the government should do, it should be people friendly. Once it is people friendly, then the government will also respond in a friendly manner. And so when both are friendly, then there will be a resolution.
I hope so. That's a very good point there. Thank you so much. That brings us to the end of our discussion. What we can take away from the discussion is there's an urgent need for strategies that balance security and civil liberties, ensuring that well-being of residents is protected without exacerbating the situation. The discussion emphasized the complexity of the crisis and the importance of addressing the root causes to pave the way for a long-term peace and stability in Manipur. Stay tuned on to SKTV for more in-depth discussions on the Manipur files. This is your host, Utpala. And before I sign off, I'd like to thank our panelists once again for being on our show and for all your valuable insights. This is your host once again, Utpala Longjam, signing off for tonight. Have a good evening.